Um, yeah, obviously a tough loss. I thought our players played extremely hard. Again, and like I said before, it's something that I expect them to do and continue to do throughout the season. Need to find a way from the coaches to the players to the, trainers, anybody involved with the program. We got to find a way to close that one out and get that win. So looking forward to getting back on the practice field tomorrow and prepare for a very good Western Kentucky team who's also hungry for a win. So should be a good battle. Questions?
What do you tell you guys after another disappointment without damaging psyche or anything like that when it comes to moments like this in the season?
Yeah. After the game in the locker room, I told them that this is when you invest more. This is when you work and make sure that every single play in practice you're giving everything you have so that you walk off the practice field exhausted. We ran out of gas a little bit at the end there, and I actually think it was more of a mental thing. So we've got to make sure that we're mentally locked in through practice and focused in practice through every single play so we can start to build up that sort of mentality throughout the game. So they've actually responded well. Got a great group of young men and who have responded well to this and proud of the way they've handled it.
Ricky, you talk a lot about the little things, and you're a few little things away from 4-2. I mean, is that something you talk to your players about, or is that something you think they already know?
We don't talk about our record, but we do talk about the details and where we can improve, where each play matters, whether it's in the first quarter, whether it's in the fourth quarter, whether it's in overtime. You never can tell. There's plays that we didn't make in the first quarter that could have really affected the outcome of that game. On the flip side of that, there's plays we made in the first quarter that allowed us to be in that game the way we were. So we talk about the details all the time. I know it's cliche and trivial or whatever. I don't really believe in small things because the small things become big things. Well, one thing I said after the game is, eventually, quote unquote, the football gods make you pay for those things. You can only do something incorrectly so many times before you have to pay the piper, as it is. So, got to make sure that we're doing things correctly all the time. Everybody in the entire program, and so that's always going to be a major focus, but continues to be this week for sure.
Which it seems like every week we ask you about confidence.
Yeah.
Which way, and it's such a fine line, which way is it right now? Are your guys still confident that you guys are close, or are all these close losses starting to wear on them a little bit, at least by what you're seeing?
No, are they upset that we didn't win a game that we could have and probably should have? Yeah, of course. They're competitors and they're going to be that way. But I wouldn't say that their confidence is any lower. That they realize the mistakes that we made that put us in that position. They realize the great plays that they made that put us in that position. The thing that I've seen is I think their confidence is growing from the fact of when they do things correctly, the type of team that we can be.
Ricky, what did you find out about Smart and Spencer?
Yeah, still evaluating. Those guys. It's going to be one of those things. Those are, big parts of our team and very explosive players. Stone obviously gives us a lot of different dimensions, but so does Isaiah. When we're able to hand the ball off to a tight end, that obviously gives you some versatility. So, waiting to see what those guys are going to be able to do and that sort of thing. We've got a great training staff, so just excited to watch those guys try to get back as soon as possible.
Kind of going back to coaching them without berating them.
Mhm.
DJ in the fourth quarter, makes throws the interception in the end zone. How do you approach that from a standpoint of, hey, look, we can't make mistakes like that, while at the same time still showing that, hey, you're our guy, we're confident in you, we know you can make these plays?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a big play in the game. Our defense did turn around, stand up, and force a punt from a coming out situation and get us great field position. So that was an awesome turn of events there. I thought our defense in those coming out situations all game did a nice job. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that the player has to understand that it's not acceptable what they did and why it's not acceptable and what those sort of things. But I don't think there's anybody going out there and making a mistake on purpose or anything like that. So it's one of those things that, yeah, you're going to get upset. It's a little bit different when maybe it's a mistake that's made, when a player talks back or a player shows disrespect to the other team or, to their own teammates or even to themselves. That's going to be a little bit more stern than this one, which was just, we got to have more regard for the football and what possession means, and with our field goal kicker, where points are obviously concerned, we got to be especially important.
Ricky, this is not about the record, but when you think back to the preseason, which was 2 seasons really, and what you thought you might have, you're at the halfway point. How would you evaluate things overall?
I think overall we're trending in the right direction, but we haven't been consistent enough to produce the results that we want and Monarch Nation deserves. I think that would be the thing that's held us back right now. It's just our overall consistency. We've had games where we've started off well and then we haven't finished well. We've had games where we haven't started well and then we finished very well. We've had some games where we've been pretty good on third down, but we've struggled on second down, things like that. So we've got to be much more consistent in order to show the progress that we're actually making behind the scenes. And you guys have heard it from me a million times. I'm a process-oriented person, but I'm also not an idiot, right? I mean, you guys, I'm judged on results, right? I'm judged on those sort of things, which is fine. I know we're still making progress. Anybody who watches the tape knows we're making progress, but ultimately the results are the results, and we've got to continue to be more consistent so that we can get better results.
You talked last week about how unfortunate it was that you guys had to take the 2,000-mile trip out to UTEP and then turn around and go right back to West Virginia and go to Marshall. So that being said, how good does it feel just to be back home for a game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be great. I mean, I thought our players and coaches really responded well last week to the challenge. It was a good environment to play in. Obviously, those fans they created a good environment. There's some moments where it got pretty loud and that sort of thing. So it was it was good to be it was good to be there and play in that environment, but it's going to be a lot better to play in front of our home fans and have people behind us. And hey, listen, it's played between the white lines, but to think that the emotional support that 20,000 people provide for you doesn't help you make 1 or 2 plays in a game that'd be silly. You know what I mean? I mean, you just watch college football this week, and you saw home crowds making a major difference in games, and I know ours will come out and do the same.
What do you know about Western Kentucky from what you have seen in maybe the last day or so?
Yeah, great offense. Really it's powered by the quarterback. I mean, that quarterback is a very, very good player. I gave him what I consider to be the highest compliment for quarterbacks is he's a great passer. He is, he's extremely accurate. He knows how to change trajectories on the ball. He knows when to get the ball out quickly. He knows when to hold it a little bit longer. He's more athletic than I want him to be. Because he extends plays and does some really, really, really good things on that end of it as well. He doesn't put himself or the ball in jeopardy, and really impressed with him. I think he's a quarterback's quarterback. I mean, he plays the game the way that you want it played at that position. He does an excellent job. They've run the ball a little bit. They've run the ball actually pretty well considering the amount of times they've run it. They've been physical and ran the ball well when they've run it. On defense, they're playing a lot of plays, so some of these stats are skewed a little bit because their offense is playing well and scoring quickly, and they go very, very fast on offense. So they're playing a lot of plays, so some of those stats are skewed a little bit. They give you a variety of coverages, a variety of fronts up front. They have a defensive end that's a very good athlete who can really get after the passer and was a defensive preseason player of the year candidate. So, they've got some players on defense, and we've got to be prepared on all sides of the ball.
They lost. They scored 46 points in a loss. I'm not saying you'll have night sweats. Do you feel a little trickle every now and then?
No, I mean, no one believes in our defensive coaching staff and our defensive players more than me. I mean, we just went against the number one offense in the league, and I think we played pretty darn well. So we've got to go out there, and we're not going to get any credit for that. There's no, we don't get any bonus points for that in this one. We've got to go out there and play well again. But our guys will be ready to go. I don't have any doubts or fears about that.
How many hours did you sit on the runway this time?
Well, I guess we didn't sit on the runway
Well,
this
that's
time.
fine.
Yeah, we sat. It was like an hour, maybe an hour and 15 this time. So our guys are getting good at that. They really have been excellent. In terms of dealing with those type of adversities. You're not hearing, a bunch of complaining. You're not hearing a bunch of whining and all those sort of things. Did they want to get home? Yeah, of course they did. But they've been great in terms of that, for sure.
More mechanical issues this time?
I don't know. If I knew, I'd fix it. I'm starting to, maybe in the off season I'll go to, try to see if I can get, one of my mechanics licenses or anything like that. And anybody who's listening to this right now who knows me at all knows that that's the biggest joke that's ever been told in this thing, because I barely know the difference between a Phillips head and a flathead screwdriver. So if you asked me to fix anything mechanical, I mean, do not get in that vehicle by any stretch of the imagination, because your life and others are in serious peril.
Ricky, you mentioned earlier that sort of the thing you get on a player about is if he's talking back to one of the coaches or interaction with a teammate or, talking to an opponent. It's been a very rough go for you guys. I haven't seen a lot of that.
Nope. Then that's probably why you haven't seen us get on the players that much in terms of that stuff. I think our guys have been, character is one of our 3 C's, and we have been, I think we've been great at that. We've been great at not talking back to the refs, or not, not showing disrespect to the opponents, or not showing disrespect to our teammates or coaches or anything like that. I've been incredibly impressed with, how we've handled our emotions in the games.
Todd Monken once said, this was like 10 years ago, but he once said, the days of telling players because I said so are over. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, you have to show them why. How this benefits them in some way, shape, or form. But again, I've said this before. it's not the players, right? I mean, the players have always been the player. Like, I wanted to know why too. It's not like I was like, oh, coach said so. Like, I mean, I would like to know why I'm doing this. You know, why are we reading it that way? Why, you know, are we doing that? Why is it important that I go to study hall? Why is and they're able to see if you can frame it in a way that helps them. Like, hey, as soon as you are in the real world, you're not allowed to show up late for work, right? So you're going to get fired, right? So I'm trying to help you be successful in your life. The reason we're reading it this way this week is because the way they play their cover 2 looks like 3-roll boundary. So we've got to read it a little bit different this week. I think that what's happened is there's just more information out there, more people out there, and those sort of things telling it that, you know, I think that people have always wanted to know why they were doing something. You know what I mean? I mean, the whole, you know, salute and run up the hill mentality, I mean, that didn't exactly work at Pickett's charge. I don't think it still works now, you know. I mean, I think we might want to know why we're doing something. But then in the heat of the moment, yeah, there are some things that I'm going to tell you to do something, and you need to do it. Now, you might question me when we get off the field, hey, coach, why are we doing it that way? And then I'm going to answer him. You know, a coach that doesn't answer you it's because he doesn't know. You know, I mean, and if I don't want to ever have our guys do something that I don't know why it's beneficial to them to becoming a better person or a better football player.
How important is that, too, to have that particularly at the stretch run you're in right now, that kind of hits home with them? Because providing that information, you mentioned it, and that it comes from you and it's accurate during these times.
Well, I think the number one thing I'm always going to do with these guys, and I'm sure it may be actually a fault, I don't know, but I'm always going to be honest with them. I'm always going to be truthful with them. And if that's the thing that comes back to bite me, then so be it. That one I can sleep well at night. You know, but I'm going to always be, you know, honest with them and tell them the truth. And you know, I think that trust is something that allows us to have, you know, faith in each other. You know, they have faith in that we're still going in the right direction. We have that we're gonna win games, and that we are right there, and we need to finish these games out. But that it all starts with trust. I got to trust them, and they got to trust me.
Coach, are you anticipating a different type of energy from your team, not only because you guys are trying to end this losing streak, but because it's homecoming week and the players might have a little more they want to show to the OU fans, the student body this week?
You know, I know that that's obviously a factor. I think that we talk about. I want our guys to have, you know, intrinsic motivation, because that lasts longer. You know what I'm saying? We just talked about that. You know, we read a poem yesterday that I love, "If" by Rudyard Kipling, and it's one of my favorites. And we kind of went through it line by line and went over all the different things, and that's one of them. You know, that, you know, no man counts too much. You know, and that sort of thing. And I think that we've got to make sure that we are intrinsically motivated, not always be on the extreme. You know, you can't control those factors outside. You know, we don't know how many fans are going to show up at the game. I hope we're loaded. You know what I mean? I hope it's 23,000 people and people are screaming and whatever. But we're still going to be expected to go out there and perform if it's not. You know, so I want to make sure that our guys, you know, that motivation is coming from inside. It can't be always to, you know, there's a lot of our guys that they're, you know, hey, why do you do this? Well, I do this because I want to do this for my family, which is awesome. And family is important. And no one loves their family more than me. Anybody who's been around me for even a second knows that. But you've got to want this for yourself, too. You know what I mean? It can't just be all about what your family, what your friends, for your city, all those sort of things. It's got to be about in here as well. And I think, you know, our guys are starting to witness that. That's not a selfish thing. That's wanting to do it so that you are successful for you, for your teammates, for everybody else. But that's got to be in here. You can't always be waiting for the crowds and things like that.
Ricky, some people watching your overtime possession might wonder how much confidence you have in DJ. So how much confidence do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, we knew we had 4 downs. So, you know, that's why we ended up going with 3 different runs. Obviously, we put the ball in his hands in one of them to run it and that sort of thing. So, I mean, it was one of those things where if you go back and you look at our most explosive plays in the game were some third down runs. You know what I mean? Where they were playing coverage and we were able to split them through. We had I can't remember exactly how long Blake's run was, but it was, 40, 50 yards, yeah, whatever it was. And that was, on a third down run as well. So it's one of these things that I think that that's what we thought gave us the best chance to win that game. Obviously, when it doesn't work, we're all going to second guess it. If we split it, it's a great play call. When it doesn't work, it's why didn't we throw it on third down? And so we've got to evaluate what would have maybe given us the best chance to get that in there. But that is something that we're constantly evaluating is where that's going to go.
Ricky, you said on the radio show a few weeks ago that I think Ted asked you what your proudest moment was with the football team, and you mentioned when they got a 3.0 in the spring. Is that still one of your proudest moments, and can you talk a little bit about the academic help that your team gets from Dr. Rahne and the rest of the crew?
Yeah, I mean, I think our academic staff, it still is one of my proudest moments because it's an accumulation of a bunch of different things that makes that happen. Our academic staff's unbelievable, and the reason that they're so good is because they care about our kids so much. They're not just there for support in terms of the X's and O's of the classroom. They're there to help them, again, see the bigger picture. Hey, how is this going to help you be successful in life? How is this going to be there? Dr. Moses does a great job of setting it up, but Morgan and Sarah and the crew do an unbelievable job down there of giving them structure and a structured environment that also has some freedom of choice, which is what they're going to have when they're adults. So they have obligations, but they have choice of when they need to fulfill some of those obligations, and I think that that's something that's really going to help them out in the future. And obviously, it's something that I don't know why I have to do this. I've already got my work done or whatever, and it's showing them, hey, how you can work ahead and time manage and all those sort of things. So that's something that, I think we're giving them some life lessons that are going to really pay off in the end. I've told guys before, a great GPA in high school or college, it doesn't close any doors. It only opens doors. No one's not hiring somebody because they're too smart. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist. So we want to just make sure that we keep as many doors open in our life as humanly possible.
Anything else for Coach? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Started all 6 games at right tackle this year, has 17 career starts. Nathan, you want to start it off for us?
Sure thing. So we were talking about, the fine line between, confidence and all those kinds of things. You guys have come so close. I mean, my gosh, you're a couple plays away from being on a 3-game win streak now. Do you guys look at it in a sense like, man, we're confident, we're really close, or are these losses in any way starting to wear on anybody that you've noticed?
I mean, losing definitely sucks. Obviously, it hurts in the moment, but we do our best to live by that 1-0 mentality, and confidence is earned. So going in every week and practicing as hard as you can and earning that confidence day by day, Sunday, and then a Tuesday practice, Wednesday practice, that's what it's all about, and that's what we're trying to do every day.
How is this team mentally trying to fight through this?
I think Coach Rahne really, really preaches this 1-0 mentality, and that's something that is really, if we live by that, we're going to get through it, and we just got to keep on keeping on pretty much, and just what happened last week. We got to focus on what we have, the task at hand pretty much, and just focus on having the best Tuesday practice of the year.
How frustrating can that be sometimes? Because you see the improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw it this past weekend, but not get the result that you want. How deep do you have to go mentally and go, okay, this is going to work, but yeah.
It's definitely frustrating because, just seeing your teammates leave it out on the line and yourself leaving it on the line every week and being so close, it definitely hurts. But just focusing on what we have next is just so, important. And it's nice to see, and it's refreshing to see from, we have a lot of young guys on our team, and seeing them be able to just put that to bed and focus on the next one is nice, and it's better.
You guys have suffered some crucial losses, going back to a couple weeks ago at home versus Buffalo, and then last weekend being forced to go to overtime. What are the guys in the locker room saying to each other to get each other to continue to dig deeper and still have that belief in each other as a team as the season goes on?
I mean, everybody knows that we're close, but I mean, close is close. It's not getting the job done, and we know that like everyone's just saying we gotta keep on coming in every day and like doing what we gotta do and have the bet. Like every day needs to be the best practice of the year, and you gotta be leaving practice exhausted, and that's where you gain that confidence and you gain that ability to be able to finish games.
How encouraging is it that you are close? I mean, you guys have been competitive with 2 exceptions, I think. Is that encouraging?
It's encouraging, but it also is like, it's frustrating. It's encouraging but frustrating, and it definitely makes you want to go and have a better week of practice this week than you did the last week, even if you had a great week of practice. It makes you want to go in and take it day by day and just know that all you can do is focus on what you have at hand that day.
How are your feelings going into the Western Kentucky game? You're back at home. You got to feel a sense of relief having been on the road the last couple of weeks.
I love home games. It's always really, really nice to be able to play at home, and it is nice that it's homecoming and people are going to be energized, and it's going to be a fun one, and I'm looking forward to it.
Anything else for Nick?
What's it like getting your hands on a live football?
I was honestly kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting it, but we've actually, as an offensive line, we have worked on that drill a couple times. So I went over there and I was able to tell them that drill worked.
How's the offense's confidence in DJ?
It's good. He lives by that 1-0 mentality as well, and he knows, and we know that we're gonna go in and just put last week to bed, and like we're gonna stay together and stay tight and just take this thing one day at a time.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Dodger in 4 games this year is 14 tackles, interception, and a pass breakup. Roger is a transfer from Western Kentucky. Played 40 games for Western Kentucky, 81 tackles, 3 interceptions, and 16 pass breakups. You get why he's in here. Brian, want to start us off with Roger?
Sure. I'll start with just Western Kentucky. Are you licking your chops right now that you're going to play them? And what do you know about them that you passed on to maybe coach that they may not know?
I'm just excited. I get a chance to play the game I love. It's always a blessing to be able to play. Every time you get to step on the field, no matter who the opponent is, it's always a blessing. So I'm looking forward to playing Saturday. Yeah.
How's this team feeling from your perspective? 4-game losing streak, but you're back at home now.
I feel like we're not down at all. We keep a 1-0 mentality, so I feel like we're gonna come prepared to play.
Were you on? I mean, you played, what was it, Eric, 40 games you said?
40 games at Western, yes.
So if we played 40 games and you made trips here, how is, facing your old team, do you think about that at all? Is that different, that you were part of that program coming here, and now you're on this field playing them? And is that something you even think about? Or like you said, is it just going out there and playing football?
It's gotta be a little weird, doesn't it?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, of course it's a little weird, but I just got to go out and do what I do. So.
Do you hold a grudge at all against your former team?
Oh, no. My 4 years at Western Kentucky was probably the best 4 years of my life. So no, ain't no grudges or nothing like that.
Obviously, they can score some points. They dropped 46 and still lost. From your perspective on defensive side of the ball, I mean, what do you tell your teammates when you're going up against a team like that?
Basically on defense, more so we worry about what we do, like what we got control of. So we gonna come out. I know our coach is gonna have something for us, and we're just gonna play hard. Everybody gotta do their job.
You guys did that Saturday. You held the league's best offense to limited yardage. How much confidence did that give you guys in the process and what the coaches are telling you?
I mean, I guess it's definitely a comfortable, but I mean, we knew what we are capable of and the work that we put in.
So you transferred from Western Kentucky. While it's just another football game and all that, if you could have your choice of making a big play on Saturday, would it be an interception? Would it be a big hit? Would it be a sack? What are you anxious to go out there and do on Saturday?
Whatever it is, to help my team win, no matter if it's a tackle or if I got a block, it don't matter. Whatever it is to help my team win.
Why did you leave Western Kentucky?
Why did I leave Western Kentucky? I don't really want to talk about why I left Western Kentucky.
Why did you come here?
Why I chose OGU? I chose OGU because the relationships I built with some of the coaches. Obviously, the corners coach is from Florida. He's not too far from where I'm from. And I feel like they have a lot of young guys, so I wanted to come in, not only just come in and play, but also help with those and be a leader to those guys.
Anything else for Roger?
Talk about your pick. How was it? Take us through the play and then how jacked up the defense is after a turnover.
Obviously, it was a big play. So they lined up in a tight snug formation, and basically they had already ran that route already, but it was just on the other side of the field, and me and the other corner had communicated. So when they ran it to my side, I was ready for it and prepared. So basically, ran the route for them.
What's the feeling like? Not a lot of us have had that feeling.
It feel good every time you catch a pick. Like every time I catch a pick, it's like during the moment, like during the game, it's like, okay, you got to get ready for the next play. So it's next play. It's not like you don't soak it all the way in, but like after the game, like yeah, I caught the pick. Like yeah.
Once you catch it, do you kind of turn into a running back?
Yeah. Basically, you just what we teach is near sideline. Catch the ball, try to make a guy miss, get as many yards as you can, protect the ball so the offense can get it or score if you can.
Roger also has 8 punt returns for 82 yards as well. So he's used to carrying the ball a little bit. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So you played for 4 years at your previous university. Why do you continue to play? Like, what's your passion? What's keeping you going? Like, how are you still benefiting from doing it after 4 years and you're continuing here?
Really, my love for the game. Like, I love football. Like, this is what I've been doing forever, and this is what I want to continue to do. Whether I'm not playing or not, I love to be around football. So yeah, that and also my family. Every time I step on the field, I'm not only playing for myself, I'm also playing for them.
Given how much you've touched the ball, was there any desire to play offense? Or have you played offense before?
It's crazy because I never played offense. Like in high school, I played offense like literally through middle school. I had no offensive snaps in high school, but I had offensive offers. But I haven't played any offense since like middle school and little league.
Did you consider those? I mean, when they want you for offense, did you give it some thought?
No, not at all.
You're pure defense.
Right.
What is it about defense that you love so much?
It's just like, especially with the position I play corner, I feel like you just have to be super competitive, quick twitch, and you gotta have a super strong mindset to have a next play mentality and forget about the play before, whether it was a good or bad play. Like you gotta focus in every play, because at corner it's like, if you make a mistake at corner, it's possibly a big possibility that it's gonna be a touchdown. Like you don't get second chances a lot.
When you left Western Kentucky, I assume you opened up recruiting on yourself. What other offers did you consider? Or did you have?
When I left Western Kentucky, I had a lot of Conference USA offers. Like, as as soon as I entered the portal, a lot of CUSA teams and a few teams like App State and Liberty also offered.
So you had good choices.
I made the right choice though.
Anything else for Roger? All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger.